Welcome students to this e-learning class. This lecture is primarily meant for the 4th semester students, and I am going to discuss, or this can be considered as a remedial lecture to Eugene Ionesco's Rhinoceros. Some of you have asked me over WhatsApp that, so please discuss this aspect of transformation with reference to this conforming to the dominant ideologies like Nazism, fascism, and totalitarianism. So today I'm going to discuss these issues. But before going deep, let me remind you of a very basic pattern of literature, and it is also a very basic thing existing in the modes of society. This is the aspect of identity formation. How is individual identity formed? You see, when a man or a woman, when a human being is born, he or she is being continuously influenced by various institutions. There are several institutions existing in our society. So, what are these institutions? These institutions are number one, administration, number two, nation or the state government, number three can be race, number four, ethnicity, number five, religion, number six, language, number seven would be family. In India, there is also a very distinctive aspect of caste, not only the economic class but also social caste. So these are institutions which are continuously shaping an individual. So an individual is caught in a continuous process of transformation. This process of transformation is never ending. It will never end till a man or a woman breathes his last or her last. He or she is being continuously transformed day by day, moment by moment. We are gaining experience, little drops of experience, and we are being continuously transformed. We are being matured. So this transformation is never complete. Now, how would this institution shape our ideas? See, if I ask you a question that how many names of Gujarati poets do you know? Or for that matter, how many Uriya poets, how many names of Uriya poets do you know? Or how many poems or how many novels of Hindi literature have you studied? Your answers would be perhaps very minimal, because we live in Bengal, the state of Bengal, where Bengali is the dominant language and we study English as an official language. So you see, we know to a great extent of Bengali literature. We know Bengali poets, Bengali authors, because we have read about them, their works in during our schools, in our colleges, and often during our idle time. But we are not accustomed, we do not know about any other literatures, any other language. So this language or our state of domicile becomes an institution. Now, if I ask any Hindu man about how much does he know or she know about the customs, religious customs of Islam, or vice versa, if I ask a Muslim man or a Sikh man or a Christian man, to what extent does he know about mode of worshipping or rituals existing in Hinduism? These, I think, most possibly would also be minimal, because religious, the family where we belong, shape our horizon of expectation, and this horizon of expectation does not allow us to breach or to go to sort of cross the threshold. We know about India. our country, our state, our history. Do you know the history of Kazakhstan? Do you know the history of Mozambique? Do you know the history of New Zealand? Except few of you who are really interested, their history, their histories do not matter to us. We are only confined within our national boundary. This is how our nation, our country shapes us. You see, so these are institutions which are continuously transforming, continuously framing our identity. You see, the schools where we have studied, the colleges, the universities, all of these institutions have a tremendous effect on our person. Now, let me, although it is not included, or those of you who will reach the postgraduate level, who will study MA, will obviously read about this man. The man is Louis Althusser. So, Althusser gave us two distinct concepts: ideological state apparatus and repressive state apparatus. What is ideological state apparatus? To be very convenient to you, or to make it convenient to you, ideological state apparatus are this dominant hegemonic structure that operates in our society, in our country. See, no matter whichever political party we support, each and every political party has a dominant ideology, has an ideological base, and regarding this ideological base, we extend our support to that political party. This is irrespective of any country. It is not only about our country, India. It is about America. It is about England. It is about Pakistan. It is about South Africa. It is about Australia, Russia, anything. So we extend our ideological support to a handful of people who reside at the power structure, who reside at the center of the power structure. So these people disseminate the ideas which shape the country or the subjects at large. See, during the British period, if you sort of interview a person who is still alive, who has read the syllabus, or who was a student, or who has spent his student life in the pre-independence era, then you will get to know that in the pre-independence era, the history books referred, or used to refer, the British as the savior of human race, because you have no Kipling, who very infamously stated that we are the white man's burden, and it is the white man's duty to educate the black man or the brown man. So now we know how the Britishers have exploited our resources, and we know about this infamous brain drain, the drain of wealth, all the wealth of the Orient, not only of the subcontinent but also of the Asian and African countries, the colonized countries. Their wealth have been looted, plundered, exploited to England, to the European countries. That is why they are now the superpowers. Now, this is the very basic idea. Now, let me come to this exclusively to this text of the Rhinoceros. Now, Eugene Ionesco, in his biography, he has referred that he has witnessed the Nazi atrocities. He is saying, let me quote, "My youth was spent partly in France, partly in Romania, where I saw the hatching of the Nazi movement. At that time, everybody was a Nazi, just as today everybody is an extreme leftist. If someone said he was a Democrat, then he would have been lynched. And the best spirits of the time, the intellectuals, were fascist, just as the intellectuals of today are leftist." So this is how Eugene Ionesco is very chivalrously, is very deliberately, very dauntlessly proclaiming how he has witnessed the atrocities and how he has witnessed the repression of, or the repression by, the suppression by the dominant ideological structure. Now, it does not matter whichever party is in the power or whichever ideology is residing at the center of power structure, it is inherently repressive in nature. If it is a right-wing government, a right-wing right-wing structure of power, then the state will necessarily become a totalitarian state. If it is a left-wing government, a left-wing or the left-wing individuals who are presently located at the center of power structure, the hegemonic pattern of structure, then it will obviously, the conformity to left ideology, the communist, the Marxist ideology. Ionesco is stating that both of these are harmful for society, where an individual cannot resist, cannot protest against the prevalent ideological pattern. Because if an individual ever tries to protest, to resist this oppression, this oppressive pattern of dissemination of ideas, dissemination of ideology, then he will necessarily encounter what Althusser had said, repressive state apparatus, where the state, the government will approach him, will come to him by means of force. And by force I mean police, army, etc. So if you violate a law, if you question, if you challenge the existing power, then we will be necessarily thrown into prison. This is how the repressive state apparatus operates. Now, Ionesco, in Ionesco's Rhinoceros, we are seeing that individuals are being transformed into rhinoceros, the epidemic of rhinoceros. You were witnessing today the epidemic of coronavirus. So like that, it is a rhinoceros. So what is this epidemic of rhinoceros? It is that people are being gradually transforming into rhinoceros, a savage beast. So this transformation is metaphorical in essence. It actually signifies the transformation or the surrender, the submission of our individual intellectual faculty, individual power of creating, individual faculty of judgment. Okay, আমাদের নিজস্বতা. We have surrendered to the existing power structure. Now, the people like Beringer, the protagonist of this story, Beringer is resisting against this transformation. He defies to transform. Okay, so he is by this aspect, he is a non-conformist. He does not conform to the conventional structuring of the society, okay, the conventional outlook of the world. Now, what happened in Germany? Hitler became the dictator and Nazi ideology, oppressive Nazi ideology was disseminated, which regarded that the Aryans, the Nordic race, was the superior of all the races existing in this planet, and the Jews are inherently our enemy. So we must slaughter all the Jews. So this is a very oppressive ideology. Same thing happened in Italy, the fascist by Benito Mussolini. Same thing, a similar thing happened in Stalin. What Stalin did in Russia. After this fall of Lenin, after Lenin died, Stalin rose to power. And although Stalin was a communist, he was by no means a Nazi or a fascist, but Stalin was also a dictator. There was no scope to question his authority. There was no one to interrogate or to challenge his oppressive dictums. I also discussed in my last lecture the imperial aggression of Japan. All of this culminated in the World War II, and that is why Eugene Ionesco is very critical of all this prevalent, dominant, hegemonic patterns of totalitarian state. Now see, here we find this man named Botard. The Botard is a young and narrow-minded person who is skeptical and obstinate. He is convinced that the outbreak of this epidemic, rhinoceros, is a right-wing conspiracy. Whatever goes against, or whatever goes against our conventional outlook, or those we cannot comprehend, we try to mean this as a conspiracy done by our opponent groups. So this is our narrow-mindedness, of which Botard is an example. He would have been lynched, and see, he's saying that which was propagated by the press and consumed and digested thoroughly by the masses. So this is the nexus of this ideology, the power, and hegemony. So let me come. Another people have asked me to go a bit regarding the question of language, role of language in the narrative structure. So just go through the Monica Zutsi's paper, which I have given you in the study materials. So regarding this question, what will you write? The first point would be the Ionesco's dramatic techniques of repetition and parallelism. Number 2 would be the exercise or the implementation of logicians, language, and speech. The last would be the function of Ionesco's use of comedy. This play often can be represented as a comedy. It is a very comic structure at the core. So does it distract us from the idea at hand or call more attention to it? So this is which all of you must keep in mind. So prepare your answers and be safe at home.